way more personable, I think, even at that age, way more personable than me. And she really did like her. And me now, she saw me in a different light, and I knew she didn't like me. I recognized it by the treatment. And I remember that summer, after trying to get my parents to acknowledge that I was being abused and failing to gain their sympathy, they were giving me the kind of learn to get along and cope and, you know, the tough love experience. And that summer, before leaving for summer holidays, I discovered that you could make an application to get a boarding spot on the school campus. And I wrote my own application for a boarding spot, handwritten letter on book leaf out of my exercise book, appealing to the principal for a spot in the boarding campus and explaining to them that my parents were from a remote community in St. Anne, would have had to travel far with uncertain transportation capabilities. And my parents had two of us in school, and I gave my sister's name, and that we would be greatly assisted if a space could be provided for me, Minette, to be accommodated, housed on campus. And that was my secret for the whole summer. I was waiting to see a letter arrive from St. Hilda's acknowledging that a position was available on campus. Well, my dear listeners, the letter did arrive, addressed to my parents, and I was the one to receive it from the post office and bring it home. Oh, my excitement was palpable. Finally, I would get away from this lady because my 10-year-old self, by this time I'd be 11 because I'm born in July. So during the holidays, I would have turned 11. So I'm getting away from this lady. I have chewed the yes, man. I had planned my own escape. Well, suffice it to say, I was weeping. My sister was weeping because the school, they were just impressed by this application. So impressed that they said, you don't need the boarding, but your sister, whose grades are not as good as yours.
Hold on a little bit. So let me understand this. Both were weeping.
Two of us weeping.
The reason for the weeping now is another story.
A different story. Yes. My sister is weeping because she was having a grand time at the boarding house where she, being older than me, fitted in better with the older boarders, and the lady absolutely adored my sister, loved her. Me, on the other hand, not so much. I am weeping because the school has granted the request, but they have specified that the boarding position is to be taken up by my older sister, who they said would benefit more from the discipline and stability of the dorm. Oh my gosh.
Tears of joy. And yours was?
Hers were tears of sorrow and mine were tears of sorrow. I badly wanted to go.
No. It's okay. You'd rather put it that way. All right, we'll work with you. We'll work with you.
But to this day, she has such valuable friendships. I mean, you've been around and you've seen her.
I know she would have been
she certainly blossomed on campus. And the other injustice, Lowell? The boarding house lady used to give me treats to deliver to my sister. The woman was a great baker. She baked a sweet potato pudding like nobody's business when she did baking on the weekend. And so I had to carry a care package to my sister on the campus because my sister was still missing the boarding house and the boarding house lady was missing her. And me, the one that she didn't care for too much. Yeah, I had to carry the love gift.
I hope you did thank her because she helped to build your character. She's one of the reasons why you are who you are. So? Yes, man. What do you mean? You see, when you punish students or children, I tell them, run around the track.
Building muscles.
Oh yes, building your stamina.
Yes, I know.
And them don't even realize.
Or giving the least favorite child the pot water.
Thinking it's a punishment.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it's
So I was I was reflecting on it this morning because just thinking about how do we encourage our listeners or family or fellow Jamaicans? How do we encourage you to be bold in the face of every kind of distraction and unpleasantness? And how do we encourage you to be innovative in your search for solutions and for freedom? I began to look at my own journey. I said, there's nothing different between me. My mom had 7 of us. I'm the third. And I'm the third of, I have 2 older sisters. So I'm the third girl and, third in her 7. And in that position, nothing special about that position. My mom had the great excitement of a firstborn. And then I came a second girl, and both beautiful. My sisters look different from me in terms of their physiology. As you know, I am still, I think, the shortest in my family. So, the long-legged beauties. And
I noticed you said still. As if maybe somebody could have grown.
So somebody might not grow and take my position. Oh, there's Jody. But this is
no. We're talking about your
my generation.
I mean,
yes, amongst my siblings, I am definitely the shortest, and just a little different. But everybody else had,
So it's safe to say you're more grounded, meaning you're closer to ground.
I am definitely closer to ground. Let's call it more grounded for that. But I was just thinking that it really is what you go on to do that will distinguish you from the rest. But everybody start off with the same opportunities, especially in a family setting.
You were
same
anointed
genetics
to help people in this way. Look at that. Look how you write that beautiful letter for your sister. There you go. Yeah?
Man, she didn't like me for that. She's like,
Yes,
why were you even doing that?
This lady
Other people
harass you.
Yes.
And in so doing, she strengthen you, prepare you for the future, so you know that anything that you're going to accomplish in this life, you have to fight for it. You have to work hard for it.
And you have to be prepared to put yourself out. Because so that's what I was thinking. I was saying, all right, so
a character builder.
Definitely. Percy said grace builders.
Grace, okay.
So I was thinking that there are many of us now facing some tough spots where the place we went to for relief did not deliver what we're looking for. And then you have to take a decision where next to go or what to do. So my 10-year-old self say, all right, I need to leave this place. I'm telling my mom about the hardship so she could advocate for me with my dad, who was the one who could make it happen. Neither are convinced that I am in any real jeopardy. So they do nothing. So I look at my circumstances and say, well, perhaps there's something I can do for myself. I don't have any money. And this is now, I don't have money and I don't have the kind of power. I can't check myself out of the house and go live somewhere else. But I know that there's living accommodations on the school campus. I was saying there's nothing known to man, no experience, in which there isn't a way of escape. So we, all of us, have to spend our time examining our circumstances and picking from all that is around us the opportunities for escape.
But yours is an experience that is worth looking at, because our children face so much. And the truth is, parents don't even realize it. Because when your children are speaking about the way things affect them, you need to listen. One of the things that guide me, is just remembering my own children.
Yes, I always hear you say that.
How I felt, in certain circumstances. And that guide me in terms of relating to my own children. Never brush them aside. Listen to them, because whatever it is they're speaking about, it's real to them. And unless you listen, you will never know for sure what's happening. Whether it is they're trying to twist things in order to get their own, whatever the case.
And if they are, there's a
you
reason.
need to listen. Yes, there
You know
is a
that?
reason for
If
it.
they
It's a
are, there's a
symptom
reason.
of a
Yeah.
cause that you
Yeah.
need to find. And I know the problem is that a lot of our parents, because of their own experience, their own upbringing, they don't know how to navigate just, parenting and doing that which is within their children's best interest. So, as a society, we need to reach out and help those, who need that kind of help. Because parents need help,
They do. And
they need help.
Yesterday you and I were having a conversation with our son. And there was a point when he seemed unable to articulate what was going on. And what I noticed is when he got to that place, facing two powerhouse parents, looking at him with like, speak up. He said, it's okay, it's okay. And I know that sometimes the retreat is not because it's okay.
Mm-mm.
It's just an inability to put together the best description of what you're going through so you can either persuade your parents or whatever. So one of the things that we need to be able to communicate to our children is that we're on their side. They don't need to persuade us. And even in terms of your relationship with your creator, that is the model which drives us.
Yeah.
I don't need to persuade my creator of my needs because he knows them. So if my language is not smooth, if my delivery is not great, if I might even look like I don't care, he knows what I need. So I can be confident that as long as I am coming to him with that expectation of receiving, it's covered. So too with our children, we have to give them that confidence that we are on their side.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they don't really, it's hard for them to believe it depending on your track record. So if you are a parent who was not very, talkative and your child not really sure where you stand on various things, or they may have overheard you expressing opinions of a particular sort, they may already have it in their mind that, boy, my parents don't like when so and so happened, or me know say my daddy won't stand for this, or my mother never do so and so. So they already have a mindset concerning where you stand on various matters. Mm-hmm. So parents have to go back into the field and give your children that confidence that you are on their side. Meaning, it don't really matter if they're right or wrong. If they are wrong, you are on their side, because you, as parent, will have the courage and the ability to say, my son, my daughter, you're not right on this issue, but I am not leaving you out there for others to destroy you, devastate you, because you made an error. I'm standing with you to work out the correction, to do whatever is necessary so that you grow positively from this point.
So the important thing is that they leave feeling, or knowing that they have been heard.
And they're supported.
And not just heard, but yes. Yeah. Even though you might not, be on the same page or agree with whatever they are advancing, at the end of the day, they should feel comfortable that at least you listened and you gave it careful consideration. That's very important, Very, very important.
It's important to us as
very, very
as
important.
big people, much less the little ones who already.
The truth is, we have a tendency to preempt. Boy, I know where you're going with this. Me did look like you one time, so therefore. It is such a terrible thing to do. Because no matter how you think you know, you never know until you find out, until you hear. So many times you try to preempt people, you say things, and they surprise you. The very thing you think they're going to say, last minute, or whatever the case may be, they say something else, and I say, oops. Lucky thing I didn't. Or sometimes you're embarrassed. So we need to be patient. Listen. Even if you think you know what is going to be said, let it be said. At least it's confirmation for you. And if something different is said, then you can say, "Oh, thank God."
Don't show your surprise.
Yeah.
Remain cool. Don't let them know they caught you off guard.
Let them speak.
The alliance of parents.
And when you're listening, you must truly listen. Don't just keep your mouth shut, waiting for them to stop so you can say what you want.
And it's clear
That's
that,
another thing.
and then it's clear that you didn't really hear them.
No, you
didn't really hear them.
Your moment, and you just being decent.
Yes, kind of like when our government does public consultations.
Oh yes,
it's just
consultation.
Yeah, they really just go through the motion. All right, so why are we talking about parenting stuff? Not because we're co-parenting. Oh, and Pastor Percy gone to orientation. Pastor Percival is exceptional in that, I guess because he did parent teachers service and so on, he is as tuned into the mechanics of administering school affairs as he is to being a parent. And that's great, but not all parents have the time or the ability to navigate those waters.
I will say this, and I fully identify with and understand Pastor Percy. Don't forget, we never miss anything for the children while they were going to school.
I think we did miss orientation.
Never miss, no.
Sixth form orientation? You went to sixth form orientation?
I thought about it. I remember at John's orientation when they were talking about all the students who everybody just want to be a doctor. Think about
for sixth form orientation.
Yes, because you know that school, everybody wanted to be a doctor. And that was a part of the orientation. So listen, there are other areas that you can enter that can be just as fulfilling and just as, give you the same kind of profile or similar profile. So we didn't miss it.
Okay.
We did not miss one thing.
Perhaps I was napping.
Not one.
We're trying to remember this morning.
And it is important because they need the support.
And parents need to be informed. That was the other thing.
You should be there. Don't miss it. Take the time because it's important. You live for your family. You live for your family.
But the other thing too is even if you don't make it to orientation, don't be intimidated on the occasion now when your child needs you to be their advocate. However you get it done. If you have to get that JP to write a letter for you, or because in my community, in those, it's even still today, parents who are not confident about their ability to advocate in high places, they would come to my mom and they would lay out the situation and get a letter done.
Yes. You see?
So you could send a letter to the principal, send a letter to the school chairman, whatever it is. Just find a way to represent what your child is saying. Because now yesterday UNICEF was talking about being concerned about the high level of suicide amongst young people. When they find themselves in a box from which they can't exit, they just will take their lives because nowadays that is considered a legitimate exit. You realize that?
Legitimate.
Yes, it's an option. When you can't work your way out of, it's okay to do this, others are doing it. Our good friend, Dr. Hilton, has published her book. It addresses matters of mental health and suicide. And I think she was on one of the programs that dealt with suicidal ideation.
Yeah, we need to get her on.
Yes, we should. And remember, another lady was here with us one morning. Today's Wednesday.
Okay,
she's trying to arrange something.
Later
and she as an adult, she tried to commit suicide as an adult, but the fixation on it began earlier.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
It's
you didn't just make that choice.
So one wonders if there is a predisposition, but then the truth is, without even getting into too much of the details, we know differently. It is one of those things that really I don't think there is a predisposition. Let's put it that way.
Well, because we're going back.
I really don't think so.
We're going back to how we started, that we're created with the same.
Yeah. But certain influences, certain experiences will cause one to contemplate or go down that road.
Yeah. And we're not going to look at some of the babies who are born.
It's important to look at it closely, to pay attention to the warning signs and take, action. As a matter of fact, we're
right at the break, 7 o'clock.
Yes, so
all right. Well, we're laying the foundation for prayer. I hope you're getting spiritually stimulated. Let's take the break.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening. The government's efforts to ensure every Jamaican has reliable access to justice services has been strengthened with the recent implementation of the Social Justice Division. An arm of the Justice Ministry, the Social Justice Division is home to the National Child Diversion Program, Restorative Justice, and the Victim Services Division. It was operationalized in March this year. Principal Director Jamie Shevans explains that bringing these flagship programs under one roof was a targeted move to improve the ease and effectiveness with which the services are accessed by members of the public.
It was thought that the putting together of the programs under one umbrella would ensure that they have the reach and the visibility so citizens will know how to access these services that are obviously free of cost.
She adds that providing such a comprehensive range of services will allow the division to better cater to the psychosocial needs of both victims and offenders.
It allows them to work together in a more meaningful way. So for instance, you may have a referral to the courts to restorative justice. Now, in the process of having a conference or even just the pre-sessions, the officer may pick up that, listen, there may have been an occurrence prior to the one that is now in the court that has been referred to RJ, where the now offender was actually the victim before, and that victim, which is now the offender, may be carrying some trauma and is now acting out. And so even though we are dealing with one specific instance that has been referred by the court, that individual may need further care through victim services. And so having everyone working together makes the process for referrals and for further care of our citizens to continue.
For those who may not know, the Victim Services Division provides counseling support for persons who are victims of crime and violence. The service can be accessed through self-referrals. In the meantime, another benefit of consolidating the various justice services under the Social Justice Division is that fewer persons will have to face huge legal costs to access justice. This, as the division will offer a more affordable option through the use of restorative justice. Restorative justice works to resolve conflicts by engaging all parties and working to reach an agreement.
Individuals who would normally find the traditional court system prohibitive in terms of costs for the acquisition of a lawyer can actually walk into a justice center and get assistance with the person who they feel have probably victimized them, and this is free of cost.
Ms. Shevans notes, however, that access to the child diversion program is a bit limited, as only the court and the police can make referrals. However, the gains are far-reaching, as children who come into conflict with the law are steered away from the formal justice system and taken through a rehabilitative process.
What that gives the child the opportunity to do is to go through a treatment process, a rehabilitative process, and at the end, once it's referred back to the courts, that child will not have a record. And so instead of someone being stigmatized for the rest of their lives for an act that may just well very be something that was in the moment, not necessarily defining characteristics of the individual, that it's not something that will prohibit the person from moving forward and excelling in life.
Principal Director of the Social Justice Division in the Ministry of Justice, Jane Shavans. Persons wishing to access the services of the Social Justice Division can visit the Ministry of Justice's website at moj.gov.jm for further details, and a variety of justice services will be offered free of charge at the Legal Aid Council's Justice Fair, slated for this Friday, September 15 at the Anota Bay Car Park in St. Mary at 10 a.m. That's it for today's feature. Thanks for listening. I'm Cheryl Johnson Hamilton.
I saw something suspicious at work the other day and decided to speak out. I was afraid at first, but did it because corruption must stop. They never too liked the idea and even threatened to fire me. But I believe it's my duty to speak out against these things. Be a whistleblower and help eliminate corruption. Call the Integrity Commission at 876-968-6227 or email cpd@integrity.gov.jm.
A message from the Integrity Commission, United Against Corruption.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Employees, not sure how to take your career to the next level? Not to worry. The Excelsior Community College has a program just for you. Enroll in one of our programs today and take advantage of our flexible classes, affordable fees, and overseas travel opportunities. WhatsApp us today at 876-536-4765. Excelsior Community College, transforming lives, nurturing global citizens.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-Time Taxi Service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
From anywhere at all, you can call us at 926-38666.
We are something special on the road.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
Best 100 FM presents the Mature and Moving Up Show, Lascelles Butch 10, on Thursdays from 6 to 9 p.m. Welcome to this pioneering radio program on our continuing work in our maturing years. Compellingly defined, educate and liberate the younger generation. Tune in and welcome.
Ready for the war, ready for the war.
And the world, you want us back? We are back. The True Deliverance Ministry, led by me, the prophet Mark Stewart, right here on Best 100 FM. This and every Thursday night from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Yes, it's War Room Thursday. Come on out and join us, each and every one, on Best 100 FM, 100.1, 3 by 7 and 9. Come on out. Join me, the prophet, Reverend Mark Stewart, and of course, the buckshot, Apostle Marshall. Come for your healing, breakthrough, deliverance, the prayer, the miracle, the word, the testimony, and so much more. Yes, my friends, Best 100 FM, Best 100 FM, War Room Thursday, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Join us. We are going to live.
Ready for the war, ready for the war.
African. 100, 200, ready, mama. Ready. Is this the confusion you feel when trying to work your way through medical systems in Jamaica? Try a dose of Ask Dr. Mary every Thursday at 5 to 6 p.m. Let Dr. Mary help you understand your medical problems and bring you to a calmer place.